Well, hello there, paper crafters. Welcome back to Papercrafter's Corner. And if today is your first day joining us, welcome. We're really glad to have you, and we hope that you enjoy today's video. Our first product is the Pinwheel Punch Board, and it is made by We Are Memory Keepers, and this debuted at the Sierra Pacific Crafts Show in Salt Lake City in July this year. And while I attended the show and was able to see the product hanging up, it was the only one they had on hand, and they didn't have any that they could use for demos. So although I was able to see some really cool finished products, some really nice acetate pinwheels, I didn't get to actually see how it worked. So this is the first time that I've been able to get it in my hot little hands and share it with you. The second product we're going to talk about are the Pinwheel Attachments, and this is a product that they came out with that provides you with a post, just like this one, and then these three pieces. This one, whoops, this one, and this one. And these all connect together, and that becomes the holder for the pinwheel, and it's what enables it to spin freely. So yes, you could make these on your own, and you could add a brad. However, generally with a brad, they're not going to spin, at least not smoothly. And I think you'll see when we do the review that, that this works really well. So we'll set these aside, set our package aside. And this is actually our giveaway pinwheel board. I found a couple of these at a local store here, and I just couldn't resist grabbing an extra one so that I was able to give one away to one of you if and when you were very excited at the end of this review. So I will set that aside, and we'll provide a little bit of detail later on about how you can enter the giveaway to get one of these. So this is one that I've already opened, and I want to just walk you through what comes in the package. So first of all, it's just one unit with one removable part, and that is your blade housing. It has this lifting arm, which lifts up and then locks down into place, which you'll see, and then it has a punch. Just like all the other We Are Memory Keepers punch boards, they always have a punch device somewhere on them, usually towards the top. That's where this one is. It also comes with some instructions. Very easy to understand instructions. Tells you exactly how to use this and exactly how to put this together. And then it continues back onto the back. Tells you exactly how to make, if you're going to do several of them, and put different shapes and sizes together. Now, one thing you'll notice up here is that there is a little chart that tells you by paper size what the finished pinwheel size is going to be. And generally on their boards they have something like this on the front of the board itself, but as you'll see, this board has markings everywhere, and so I imagine it wasn't possible for them to put that on the board. So what I did is I placed this in my all-in-one printer, and I made a copy of that, printed it out, and then I attached it on the back using a self-adhesive business card holder. I have these little pouches that I have in my stash, and it's just a pouch. You could, certainly do this with a baggie, or, laminate it, or perhaps you want to put it in a page protector. But I stuck it onto the back because that way it's always with the tool. And what I've found with their tools is that once I've done it a few times, used the tool a few times, I don't really need to refer to the directions anymore, unless there's something really different that I want to do with it. So this allows me to keep this part, which I need every time, right here with the machine, and then I can put these away for safekeeping. And I do recommend that you keep these. Okay, so let's talk about how this is going to work. So first of all, your blade housing, it twirls, right? So the top and the bottom are independent, and they twirl easily. That's so that it easily slides on these tracks. And it has two parts. It has this little knob area, and then it has another one with a blade in it. Be careful, that is very sharp. And this knob area is what is going to actually sit in the track right here, and then just guide your blade up and down this track. Very easy to move. If you have issues with dexterity in your hands, perhaps arthritis, I don't think you'll have any problem getting this to work well. The next thing is that it's got this punch here. And the punch is also very easy to use. You have to push down it a little bit, especially the first couple times, but I find it very easy. No more difficult than any other punch. In fact, easier than some punches that I've used. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to flip our board over, and I want to start with a 6 by 6 inch. So 6 by 6 inch paper is going to result in a 7.5 inch pinwheel. So I've already gone in and I've cut a 12 by 12 piece of paper into 4 separate pieces. We've got 2 of them here. And one thing you're going to want to keep in mind is that if the back of your paper is white, it's not a two-sided paper, that is going to show on your pinwheel. And since I don't want to have a glaring white piece of paper on either side of the pinwheel, I decided to take 2 of these pieces and put them together like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do everything to them together. Now you could do them individually and then try to line them up. I just find generally that if you use both pieces together, it's easier. So we're going to slide them in underneath the punch here, lock them up against this edge and this edge, make sure you're locked up tight, and then you're just going to push down. Okay, you're going to rotate 90 degrees and repeat. And you're going to do that to all 4 corners. Again, very, very easy. And the closer you have this punch to you, so if I were to take this and move it way down here, the easier this is to use because you can get a little bit more leverage. I just have it up here so that it's centered in the camera and easier for you guys to see. So now we've got all 4 of these finished, and what you're going to notice is you'll have this angled curve, you'll have a little loop, and then you'll have this hole in the center. That's what you're going to line up to these markings. So this was a 6-inch piece of paper. You're going to find the 6-inch mark, and you're going to lay this right on those lines, lining it up so that, let me pull this down a little, so you have this line here and this line here with the hole lining up as well. And you're just going to place it right like that. And you're going to hold your paper, bring your arm down, and then push down right there. And that punched a hole in the center, and that's what's going to hold it on to our post. Okay? Now we're going to take our blade and we're going to drop this round wheel into the groove, and we're going to run our blade. Now, in most of the pictures I've seen, they show the blade coming downward. I found that it actually was easier for me to get a nice clean cut by going upward. You can do it either way. And then you bring it around 90 degrees. Again, this is holding it in place, so it's very easy. You just bring it up to your 6-inch mark again, put your blade back in, and you could, of course, just turn this and bring your blade down, turn it and bring your blade up. I just prefer to do it this way. I think I get a cleaner cut that way. One thing you'll want to keep in mind, and I'm going to show you this in just a moment, is right where this paper curves in like this, there is a track. You want to make sure that that groove is right there, that corner of that paper where that little V shape is right on that groove, and I'm going to show you why in just a minute. Okay, so we've got all of our sides done, and before I lift this up, I'm going to walk you through how to put this together, because this was a little confusing to me in the beginning. I don't know why. Probably won't beat anybody else, but you have this post and you have this with an opening at the bottom, and you're just going to slide this in till it locks in at the end. Then you're going to take your next piece with this round end towards here, and there's a little bit of a knob there, and you kind of have to snap it on, right? So you hear it clamp in. This part is stationary and this part spins. So this is the part that's going to enable your pinwheel to spin. And then on top of that, you're going to be putting this piece to lock your pinwheel on there. So we'll set this down. We're going to put our blade housing back in. Again, that blade is sharp, so be careful. Keep it locked into its holder there. Lift this up. And if you did 2 pieces of paper, you want to make sure to hold them together. We're going to put our handy dandy little pole there through there, and then all you're going to do is one by one take these and put them right up on top here, and you don't need to push them down. You just want to get them on there enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? and then you're just going to take your little snap and you're going to put it right on top. And you just have to press a little bit. There you go. You hear it snap. Oh, I didn't quite get it. Okay, and now you've got a pinwheel that turns very easily. Wonderful little pinwheel. These would be great for a holiday or for a birthday party. Great to put out 4th of July, maybe down the sidewalk. But very, very easy to make. And again, because you've got this nice post with this spinning mechanism, it makes it very easy. Now, a couple things that you could do. Number one, you could put an enamel dot or some kind of an embellishment on the front here. Maybe you even want to put a little greeting on there. Just make sure that it's small enough that it doesn't interfere with this turning. You'll also notice that the sticks are gray and white. And so far, that's the only color that I've seen. Now, they may come out with some additional sticks as the product is more available. One thing you can do is you can do like I did with this one, and you can grab washi tape and wrap it around the stick, and that way you would have something that looks like this, and it would be matches your colors a little bit better. Another option is you could cut a strip of whatever paper you're using here, or a coordinating paper, put adhesive on it, and then roll your stick in it. You could also use paint or glue and use glitter. Whatever you want to do to decorate the stick. I'm sure you guys are paper crafters. I'm sure you could come up with some really great ideas. But that's just one thing I wanted to mention, that so far I've only seen these in the gray and white. Now, remember when we were talking about how this worked, and I mentioned to you that you want to make sure that that paper is lined up? I'm going to show you why. Because on one of these, I didn't get it lined up exactly right. Oh, and by the way, you can reuse these stem pieces, because you're never locking anything in place permanently. So when you're done with a holiday, you can take these apart and then you could reuse them. But what I want to show you is that on this piece here, see how these are nice and clean? On this piece here, I didn't line that up exactly right, and I got this little bit of a notch there. Not a big deal. You can trim it with scissors. It actually really doesn't show much. But that's just something to keep in mind, that when you're lining your paper up here and you've got that little groove, you know, make sure when you've got it here that you're not cockeyed like this, because then you're going to end up with this funny little tail just like I did. Okay? Okay, now one thing you're going to notice is that there's a separate curve on the left side here. So you've got this curve here and you've got this curve here, and that's to give you a little bit different shape. Now you could either do these individually, or you can use one of these and layer them, and there is information on doing that in the back of the instructions here. So if you want two different shapes, you could certainly do that. Okay, so we've got another set of papers. Again, we're going to put them back to back so we don't have any white paper showing. We're going to lift this, going to punch our corners, and again, make sure you have the paper flush on both sides so you get a nice clean punch. Okay, and now this is 6-inch, so we're going to look for the 6-inch over here. Snap it in place. Again, that punches the hole in the center, and now we've got our blade, and we're just going to put our blade in and cut. Now on this side, I actually prefer bringing it from the top down. So, you know, it's all a matter of preference. I'm sure that once you get your hands on one of these, you'll figure out what works best for you. Okay, bring it down. Again, you're going to turn 90 degrees. If it gets stuck, just turn in the other direction. No big deal. And again, make sure that where this V in your paper is right where that channel for the blade is, so you get a nice clean cut. Okay, now put our blade back in, lift this up, and now as you can see, we got a nice clean cut on those corners because we made sure that was lined up. And again, you're going to do the same process, right? So you're just going to take this, you're going to go through, you're going to add, let's see, let's put each one of these pieces on. And we're going to add our little button to the front. And again, you could certainly decorate that with a piece of scratch paper. You could put some glue on it, put some glitter on the front, whatever you want to do. But it creates another really nice pinwheel. Now I want to show you the difference in the way these two look. You'll see that this one here has a thinner piece coming in. This is a little bit wider. But you know, basically it's the exact same paper, just a little bit different shape and style. And I actually like them both. I think they'd be really fun to have a bunch of them all done a little bit differently. So wonderful little example of how they can be done in different ways. So again, let's walk through this. So what you're going to get is you're going to get this board. It has a punch up here. It has a lifting arm with a hole punch at the bottom. This little thing is a hole punch, punches right in there. You've got a removable blade housing that swivels, again sharp blade, and then this little wheel that locks right into this little channel here. You want to make sure that your blade is always where the groove is, right? So this is your groove. So on either side you want to make sure that this goes in the channel and then on the blade, and on the other side is just the opposite. And lock your blade in. Again, it does come with these instructions. Paper size, pinwheel size, and then all the instructions for how to make this, how to put the pinwheels together, how to layer them. And then of course I took a copy of that and put it back here on the back of my device. The only scraps that you're really going to have are these little holes that it punches out of the center, and the corners from when you use this punch up here. Otherwise there's really no waste. So it would be a great way to use up you know, 6x6 or 8x8 pads that you maybe have laying around. You're not sure what to do with them. Maybe you've got a bunch from a specific holiday. Great way to use up some of that paper. Stash busting at its best. And that's about, I think, about it for the Pinwheel Punch Board. We will be writing an accompanying blog post. So if you have any questions, you can either leave them here on the YouTube channel, or you can leave them on our blog post as well. And that blog post will be at www.papercrafterscorner.com /blog. And let me slide these out of the way. And we would love to hear your comments. We'd love to see what you think of this. And again, the other product that we showed you was the Pinwheel Attachments. This does come with 10 pinwheel attachments. There's the spinning attachments and the posts and everything. And again, I think one of the great things about this is that you can certainly use them. They're very reasonably priced. And we will share the pricing information for both items in the blog post. But for these, you could always reuse them. So if you have the gray stick, or you decide that you're going to cover them with red, you could certainly use them for Christmas and Valentine's Day and 4th of July and maybe a birthday. So I think it's this is a very reasonably priced product as far as consumables go, and again, you can reuse them if you want to. I honestly don't know how many times you could reuse them before you might snap the plastic, but they're very sturdy, and I've done them and taken them apart numerous times and I had no problem with it. So if I had to give this a rating, I would absolutely give this a thumbs up. Been very happy with all of the We Are Memory Keepers punch boards, and we hope to do some reviews of their products in the future. Let us know which products you want to see, and if you're a manufacturer and you'd like to see your product be reviewed, we would love to get a chance to run it through its paces and share our thoughts about it. So now I bet you some of you stayed around just because you want to get your hands on one of these, right? So we want to make sure that you understand what you need to do. So you need to first of all go to our website, to our blog, and you'll need to enter there. We're going to have everybody enter there. And there's two things you need to do. Number one, you need to share with us what you thought of the review, and we want you to be really honest. Just like we're honest about the products, we want you to be honest about the review. So please share your thoughts there. And then also tell us, if you were a pinwheel, how would you spend your day? Yep, we're going to make you do a little creative writing. So if you were a pinwheel, how would you spend your day? And then we will draw one winner at random, and we will send you off one of these Pinwheel Punch Boards. And if I can get my hands on another pack of these are a little hard to find still, I will also send you one of those. Okay, so we look forward to you joining us over on the blog, and again, ask questions, leave comments, share your thoughts, and if you've already gotten one of these tools and you've made some projects with it and you want to share those, please leave us a link there and we will share those in a future post. Thanks so much and happy paper crafting. Bye-bye.